This podcast contains discussions of mature themes, including violence, which may not be suitable for all audiences. Please proceed with caution. Listener discretion is advised.
Does he know?
What?
Who you are? Doesn't, does he?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Before he comes back, I just want to say thank you.
For what?
I'm glad to have met
Welcome everybody to this special Dealer's Choice episode of Dark Talk. I'm your host Dan. I'm here with Paul and James. Guys, how's it going?
Very well, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning if you're listening to this in the morning. Good evening if you're listening to this in the evening. And if you're listening to this in the afternoon, fuck you.
That means we're on the same lines as like shitty daytime TV then, does it? Someone watches Doctors, then puts this on. No offense to anybody that's in Doctors.
Hey, I used to watch Doctors every Tuesday. I used to look after this elderly man, and he would always watch Doctors, and I looked after him on a Tuesday, and it was actually quite weird. There were like two episodes that really stood out to me. There was one about this, so there was this woman getting like terrorized by this figure, and it was like haunting her all the way through the episode, and it turned out it was like an evil twin or something like that. And then there was another episode with this like person in a green hood that was like stalking people and trying to kill people and stuff. It's got its weirdness. It's got a bit of Twin Peaks to it, I'm telling you.
That actually sounds quite good.
It's fucking great.
What's your favourite daytime television show, James? I think you're a Jeremy Kyle type of dude, aren't you?
No. That was years ago. And not anymore after that documentary about... what would I watch? I like the show where... look at me, I can't remember the name. I like the one where they call out all the scammers, or they put like GPS things in bikes and then leave them to get nicked, and then they follow. Or Homes Under the Hammer. That was always
I'm a police interceptors sort of dude.
I'm not anything, but I remember when I was a kid, right? I must have been about 5, and we didn't have Sky, so I had a day off school. I wasn't very well, so I watched like whatever was on, that's all you had. And it was something like on BBC Two, it was like the learning programme or something. And I put it on and it started, and it immediately showed a woman giving birth. So like this baby like flying out of the birth canal, like it came out so fast and just surrounded by fluids, and I was just like horrified. But yeah, I learned about stuff like that very young. So
even though you had a day off school, you were still forced to learn. The gods are cruel, aren't they?
Yeah. See, I should have been in school at the age of 5 learning like simple mathematics, but instead I was learning about where babies come from. So that was nice.
How's your week been, guys? What have you been up to? What have you watched? What have you seen? Enlighten me, tell me.
Last time we spoke, I was watching True Detective Season 1, and obviously since then I finished that, and I've got to say this was my best viewing of this. It's probably about the 4th time I've seen it all the way through, and I took in so much this time, and oh my God, it was so fucking good. And like it's up there, maybe top 3, top 4 TV shows of all time now. It's that good. And then I started Season 2, and then I lasted like 10 minutes, so I turned it off.
Oh, what?
But, I will go back to it. It was just that it was just coming down off Season 1.
Yeah, it's very hard to go straight into it. Right?
Yeah. But speaking of Colin Farrell, I started watching a TV show. I mentioned it to you down called Sugar. Yes. Which is it's like a neo-noir private detective story. And it has like, it's very, very like neo-noir in terms of got like him monologuing and not monologuing, like in a monologue, like narrating. It's got like cool cars and it's got clips of the past and stuff like that. But I got to episode 6 and there's like an insane twist in it. So I won't say anything in case you want to watch it. There's only 8 episodes. So we were talking, me and my missus were talking about what to watch because we ran out of things to watch. And I looked at my phone and like a Google fucking notification came through and showing the Sugar program, which came out 2 years ago. And it was like, got one of the most insane twists. I was like, shall we try this? And we did. So, your phone's definitely listening to you. So, yeah. I also, finally, this week, I've also watched Scream 7.
What's the verdict? Because I'm genuinely interested.
That good, eh?
Say no more.
I'm a big fan of Scream, you know. I was really looking forward to this one. No, just watch it for yourself. There are good bits in it, but that's all I'll say.
I can't watch any new Scream film because I haven't seen 5 and 6. I can't be bothered doing the homework and going back and watching them before I watch anything new. So
people don't like those films, but I do. Scream 6 is because it's set in New York. It's got like such a different feel to it. Like Ghostface has a shotgun at one point. It's not like his weapon.
Yeah.
It's not like his weapon that he carries around with him. He gets it off somebody and uses it, but it just like it's fucking great.
Yeah, he would suit a shotgun. Yeah,
and there's like a scene in the subway as well, which is really good, and it's got a good feel to it. I like it.
Yeah, now thinking back, I remember watching it at the time. I watched it like alone in my flat whilst my housemate was out, and I was actually like quite creeped out in some bits. It was actually fun to watch. It was good.
It was good. I think
maybe I'll
the
check
biggest criticism comes from the killer reveal, but I didn't mind it at all. But I guessed it. I fucking well guessed it.
Yeah.
What about you, James?
I'm still on I jumped on the movie 2 months for £1, and I watched the film that I saw advertised, and it looked incredible, and it was incredible. It's called The Girl with the Needle, but it's absolutely horrific. It's not really a horror film. I mean, it is a horror film in a sense. It's like full of horrible things that, well, you know, like it's set like post World War One in Copenhagen, and it's just like everything's fucking just horrible and cold, and nobody's got any money and stuff like that, and it's just grim. And I don't really want to ruin it, basically. Basically, it's about this girl who finds solace in a backstreet company that adopts children from people and then sends them on to different things. And it was really hard to watch. I nearly turned it off like 3 times. I thought I was watching going to be watching like a creepy David Lynchy horror film, and it wasn't that. But it was fucking so good. It was like 5 stars, and it's shot amazing. But Dan, I wouldn't recommend you watch it. With the trigger warning that I said.
Yeah, danger to children. Just.
What about you, brother? What have you been watching?
Not that much. I've been in work quite a lot, so my usual like 12 films a day. I haven't been able to keep up that pace, sadly. But I watched Crime 101. Have you seen that yet?
No, I've not.
Yeah, basically it's
good.
It's basically Chris Hemsworth robbing jewelers. It's like an ode to Heat, Michael Mann, and Barry Keoghan's in it as well. And I'm not going to spoil it, but his character is basically Ryan Gosling's character from The Place Beyond the Pines. He's a stunt riding, motorcycle, bleach blonde hair, tattooed, bank robbing psycho. He's fucking amazing. I love him. And then I watched another film called No Sudden Move, starring Benicio del Toro and Paul's best mate, Don Cheadle. It's like a 50s...
Oh, what? Is that new? Or...
It's 2021, so it's relatively new, yeah.
I saw this pop up somewhere the other day, yeah.
Steven Soderbergh. I won't spoil anything, but it's got a really good cast. You know, John Hamm, David Harbour. One of those Culkin brothers is in it as well. Matt Damon turns up halfway through, like about 2/3 of the way through the film, and I was like, oh, it's Matt Damon. He's doing that thing where he's not in the cast list, but he just appears randomly.
It's Matt Damon doing a Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. Well, he's doing a Matt Damon from Interstellar.
Yeah, I was going to say, did he turn up as an astronaut by any chance?
Yeah. Bill Duke as well from Predator was in it, and actually his name was in the cast at the start, so I was just waiting for him to turn up all film, and he's just one cool motherfucker. I love him. Yeah, so that's it really. I recommend both films.
I'll give them a watch, I think. I saw a trailer before Scream. It was for a film called, I think it was The Good Boy, with Stephen Graham, and it looked, you know, trailers always show too much, I think. Yeah. But it still looked pretty good. Looked a bit creepy.
Oh, yeah, I've seen the trailer for it. Yeah, it does look good.
It's not Good Boy, the dog film, is it?
No.
No, because there's a film about a dog called Good Boy that came out last year that everyone's raving about.
No, I think it's called The Good Boy.
Stephen Graham plays the dog.
He does. Ghost dog.
Right, Dark Talkers, let's talk dark. So, gents, we are here tonight to discuss Kill List from 2011, directed by Ben Wheatley, starring Neil Maskell, Michael Smiley, Mariana Burning, and Emma Fryer. Paul, this was your dealer's choice. Tell us why you chose this one, and when did you first see it?
I first saw this on DVD. You loaned me the DVD of it. You were like, oh, I've got this good film for you. So I was like, it's sound. And then you were like, yeah, sound. And I was like, nice. And then I took the DVD home and I put it in and I watched it. And when it finished, I messaged her and I was like, "Oh, sound that," and you're like, "Sound."
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I've seen it. I've seen this film loads of times now. I do. It's such a good rewatch as well because you see so many things every time, like alluding to the end, you know, and like especially the way I feel like I'm enjoying films and TV shows a lot more at the moment. You know, I'm really concentrating on them, so I'm really fucking hyper focused on the sounds and stuff. And there are moments in this film where it's like if it wasn't in such a serious film, it'd be quite innocuous, but there's fucking dreadful, ominous tone, like with like whistling in the background. It's almost like a Razorhead kind of wind sounds, but without getting too far ahead of myself. Yeah, I chose it because I'm currently on a bit of a folk horror binge, so I love anything with cults and anything like that. My new graphic novel that I've just finished doing the write-up of is about a cult, so I'm just heavily into stuff like this at the moment, getting a bit of inspiration and a bit of research, and I thought I was going to choose this or Possum, and I thought, let's go with Kill List. We've been talking about it. We mention it all the time, so let's just do it. Let's fucking get it done.
I'll go next. So I first came across this film and borrowed it to Paul, but James, you gave it to me on DVD, and you were like, "Watch this film, it's so good, please watch it." And I was like, yeah, I definitely will. Yeah, I will. And I just I looked at it, I was like, "Oh, see, this fucking army film." Like, you know.
Yeah, the front cover does give that vibe, doesn't it?
Yeah, but then I was free one evening, put it on, and my jaw just dropped. It was everything. It was nothing that I thought it was going to be. It was everything that I love. Oh, it's just fucking. We'll talk about what we like about this film. Yeah. So I passed the curse on to Paul, and James, you passed it on to me. James, where did you get this curse from?
Do you know what? I can't remember whether I was watching it in uni sometime because 2011 it came out. Was that right? 2011?
Yeah.
I think I saw it pretty early on. I can't remember who showed it to me or how I found it, but it was the first time I'd ever seen a Ben Wheatley film. I think I watched it because Neil Maskell was in it, and I love Neil Maskell from The Football Factory, of course. Bit of a different character. Well, actually, no, probably it could be the sequel to that. But this is right up my street, like very lynchy. That's kind of why I think I like it so much. And just the music. I love scary, creepy music playing over like mundane scenes because it's like more descriptive than I think like something bad happening on camera. It's just like something's brooding and stuff. But yeah, I can't remember where I got it from, but it's one of my favourite films now.
Let's stick with what we were just saying about the atmosphere of this film. Like you say, like there's a lot of mundane things going on, but there is such a sense of like something bad is going to happen here. I would hate to live anywhere near these main characters. It's just awful. Oh god.
Got us like without jumping ahead too much and stuff, but like obviously for this podcast, paying so much attention to everything now, and like it's got like a feel like the set design and stuff, like you know the hotel that they keep going back to the meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. It's like something off like really early episodes of like Can't Pay, We'll Take It Away vibes, you know, where they're just always in these horrible ends of town, and there's just like just like the decor and like when's that wallpaper from? Like I think it must look like that because it doesn't give the vibe that this film had like a massive budget. So I think they found that hotel and been like, right, this is perfect. It's like its own horrible, grim universe, and just,
it really works though. It really works.
It's like I remember listening to an interview with Tom York from Radiohead, and he was saying about how rural life, and there's something so creepy about it, just like especially in like England, well, and probably Wales as well, but he was talking about England specifically, where you can be in a house but just in the middle of nowhere and everything's super dreary around you, and like empty fields and just grey sky and rain. And this film definitely gives this off because I think Ben Wheatley based some of the setting around when he was a kid, and a very similar thing that he said about how he felt about like the English countryside and like even like small villages and stuff, you know. Villages always give off creepy vibes as well, to be fair. But yeah, like that hotel, James, it's like very liminal and it's just brown looking, isn't it? It's like there's barely anyone there, and very Lynchian in the way that like the woman who's working there, she's just not right. There's something about her, and you could explain it with the ending, say if she was part of it, but there's nothing to say that exactly. But it is like the people in this film are just off. And as you were saying, Dan, about like feeling of dread, I don't know if there's a film that makes me feel such dread from nothing happening. Like the amount of tension from the opening scene just right to the end, there is so much tension, but not in a way like there are films that you watch and you feel like, I never want to watch that again. You're like I don't know, Martyrs or something. So like like that film, you go away. There's dread in that. There's that existential feeling in that, but you go away from that most of the time thinking, I don't want to see that again. But with Kill List, when it's finished, I want to put it back on from the beginning, and I want to watch every single tiny detail and go through it again. And rant over.
No, there must be some kind of like brown note playing in the background of all this, but instead of making it shit your pants, instead of it making you shit your pants, it's like, it just, I don't know, it just unsettles me. It's like the town as well. Like, you know, you've just talked about the hotel, but like the town that they live in, like the housing estate, it's just on a hill, and it's like, it's not even in a city, and it's not quite countryside, and just like, imagine nothing happens there. You know, it's not quite a village. It's not like a stereotypical spooky village. It just looks so mundane and normal. And I was thinking as well, like, imagine if you were Shell and Jay's next door neighbours, you know, hearing the fighting, but they'd probably just nod their heads and say hello to you every morning. How you going? You know, they're just normal people. But then when you see what goes on behind closed doors with the two of them, it's fucking horrible.
All in front of their poor son as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about this as well. Like, they're both really, I mean, they hate each other, but like, they really care about the son. They're never, like, Neil Maskell's character, Jay, the lead in this, he is never abusive to his son. Even though he's a drunk and he's violent and he's a murderer, he's never nasty or horrible to his son. And they very easily could have gone down that route and made him just this bastard. But they don't. It's all about the relationship he has with Mayanna Burning.
It's almost like poetically sad how he is with his son, because he's not abusive to his son. He cares about him, he loves him, but he's not a good dad. But it's not because he doesn't love him. It's like he has like almost no connection with him. He asks him about the cat and he doesn't know what to say. Yeah. He's like, ask your Uncle Gal, because he's the one who's good with stuff like this. And like any dad or any adult speaking to any child can just pretend, you know, yeah, in heaven, yeah, I'll make the kid feel better or whatever. But it just shows more that he doesn't have a connection with the world at this point, you know. He's so driven by trauma and PTSD and anger and fucking rage and just, you can see it all in his eyes. Neil Maskell's acting in his eyes is the best acting I've ever seen.
I know.
Why is this man not in more? Like, he is in a lot, but why is he not like,
I kind of like the fact that he's, you know, because you got Stephen Graham, who's like one of the, you know, most well-known, really amazing English actors, and then I think Neil Maskell on par, but he's like much more or much less known, I think, because nobody that I know knows when I say his name. But he's just, he's so good.
The bit that got me just going back to his eyes. Then there's the bit where he's talking to his son, and his son says, "Mum says you're lazy," and his eyes just go fucking wild, and he's smiling. He's like, "She said that, did she?" And it almost looks like he's going to deck his son. And I was like, "Okay, oh man."
There's a moment later where he's leaning over and he's looking at someone, and his right eye looks like it's going to pop out of his head. There's so much like going on with that eye. Like both of them, obviously, but the lighting just frames it like his right eye is like sticking out of his head. It's this man, honestly. Have you seen either of you two seen Utopia?
Yeah, I was just about to bring it up.
No, not yet.
Fucking amazing. When I first saw him years ago, I think that was the first thing I saw him in since like Football Factory or something.
Yeah. He's insane in that as well. He's excellent in that. He's I might have to give that a rewatch actually.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Well, that's when you first told me about this film, James. You said, you were like the guy from Football Factory's in it, Danny Dyer's mate, and he doesn't have a lot to do in Football Factory. And I was like, is he just going to be some fucking wannabe hard man? I thought it was going to be one of those like, you know, like Rise of the Foot Soldier films.
Yeah, one of those Nick Love films.
The Business.
The Business. What's that other one? That other Nick Love film with fucking the Peaky Blinder dude in it.
Oh,
the Firm.
The Firm. Yeah, there's a remake, isn't it? Yeah. God, that was fucking awful.
But like, this is what got me like into Neil Maskell, and we'll talk about some of the other cast as well. So also, this is the first time I remember seeing Michael Smiley. Now, he's been on the podcast before for that Black Mirror episode, White Bear, and we're massive fans of Michael Smiley on this podcast because he's fucking amazing.
He is phenomenal.
He's, I think, I don't know if this is, well, how far we want to get into it, but like their relationship is so good because like you got Neil Maskell, Jay, who's like, as we said, he's like traumatized, he's just angry all the time and stuff like that. And then you've got Michael Smiley's character, Gal, and he's just like the comic relief, and he's just like, I don't know, like
he's quite light-hearted in comparison.
So I watched this with Izzy, and she was like, she was like, oh my god, like that guy needs to go to therapy and stuff. And then she was like, oh, I like him though, the Irish one. He's nice. But yeah, his warmth, and I love his and Jay's wife's relationship in it as well.
Mariana Burning as well. I think she's great in this as well. She plays it so well. Like she's just like this. She's almost like a footballer's wife, like a wag, you know. But she's relying on him to make the money because she's like stunning, like so gorgeous, and like. But the fighting between the two of them, it's just they kick off over nothing, like literally like the drop of a hat, and it's like the screaming and shouting. Like the film opens up with her just yelling at him off camera. It's just fucking like migraine induces.
She's ex-military as well, isn't she, in this? So she has probably got her own trauma as well, her own anger and all that kind of stuff. They are just like not the right people to be raising a child, unfortunately, in their kind of state.
Yeah. What got me as well, like, so I watched it last night and I haven't seen it for a couple of years now. And there's a bit after they've had a fight, Jay and Shell, and she's on the phone to what I assume is like her mum or her sister, and she's speaking Swedish because she's from Sweden.
Yeah.
But she does not have a Swedish accent when she's speaking English at all. So I was thinking, God, that's fucking weird. You know, like a bit uncanny. I was like, why is she speaking that foreign language, but she's just got no accent? But eventually they do explain that she is Swedish and was in the military. But I would have liked them to have just kept that out and just have her speak. That would have just been added to the weirdness of this film, I think.
Just before you move on, first bit of trivia. I already knew this, but I read through the trivia earlier. Shell's phone call in Swedish was entirely improvised by Mariana Buring. The filmmakers had no idea what she said until much later. So yeah, she just sort of improvised.
It doesn't say what it is it? Because I kind of don't. I don't want to know what it is.
I don't know what it is because the subtitles weren't working. I watched it on Prime Video because I bought it years ago, but the subtitles weren't available, so I don't know what she said.
Yeah, I wouldn't if it just leaves it out in general. Like I don't think you really need to know in a sense. Like her acting.
Yeah, I mean,
enough to...
you get what she's probably saying. Yeah. But
I do...
also later on in a scene where she has to have a gun, she actually mutters under her breath, "fucking amateurs" in Swedish as well.
Who's she talking about? Is she talking about the cultists, or is she talking about her husband and his mate? Yeah. I always think that I've been calling her Mariana Burning instead of Mariana Buring. I've been making an idiot out of myself.
That's all right. You just go on the kill list now.
I always get this woman confused with two other actresses. Can you guess who I get her confused with? I always think she is Anna Friel, who played Marcella in the TV series.
Yeah.
She was also in Brookside, had the first lesbian kiss on UK terrestrial television. And I always think she is Liz from Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, I can see that massively, yeah.
Yeah, but it is not her.
I don't see the Anna Friel bit.
Who's the first one? Sorry.
Anna Friel from Brookside and other stuff. She's way more famous than now. But I remember for that lesbian kiss.
I accidentally typed in Moana 3 movie for some reason. Okay. I don't think I know her from anything.
She's good, she is.
And who's the other one?
Liz from Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, I get
Goodbye,
you. Goodbye,
Liz.
So we open up, like we said, in the middle of a domestic between Jay and Shell, and Jay hasn't worked in about 8 months because of he just keeps saying like, my bad back, and Shell has apparently burned through all their remaining savings in that time, which is about £40,000, and he just wants to like chill out and just like sit in his jacuzzi. He's just like, oh. She's the fucking jacuzzi. I need it for my back, Shell. It's not a fucking back, it's your fucking head.
That's another thing about the dialogue in this. It was most of it just seems ad lib because it's so realistic. Like people are talking over each other, saying stuff that people say in real life. It's just not in cinema. It's just so realistic.
Yeah.
Like, it's so British.
Because Neil Maskell's a Cockney as well. He uses a lot of like Cockney words, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out my gaff and all that stuff. You know? Whereas she sounds like she might have like a sort of London accent, but she's obviously not like, she doesn't have that heritage, so she doesn't use those words. Michael Smiley's Irish, so he doesn't use Cockney slang. Yeah, I reckon there was a level of improvisation from Ben Wheatley because these actors obviously are capable of it. There is such good chemistry between everyone in this film, apart from one person who doesn't have chemistry with anybody, who we'll probably talk about in a bit. But like the three main people in it, their chemistry is just phenomenal. Like you would believe that they're real people, real humans, whatever.
And before I forget to mention this as well, we may as well talk about it now. And just the way that it's shot as well, so it's very kitchen sink drama, like a handheld camera right in everybody's face, and And so that's really visually striking. But what I also noticed about this as well, it's almost like, I'm sure they do this in 28 Days Later a couple times, the voiceover from the next scene plays while the previous scene is going on, and it keeps cutting between like flashes. Oh, it's like so cool.
Yeah.
It's so well put. It's almost like a dream, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to mention this as well. They overlay the voice track from the previous scene leading into the next scene, and they do that quite a lot, and they cut to black quite a lot. There's a lot of like very artistic shots in this, and you might not notice it on a first viewing, or if you're like a casual film watcher or not, you might not notice all this, but this is why it's such a good rewatch, because there's so much stuff that you can notice. Like, you know, after you've seen it like 2 times, let's say 2 to start with, on the third watch you can actually start looking for things and listening out for things like the music and the tone and all that kind of stuff, especially the vocal overlay that you just mentioned, Dan.
Yeah. I think one of my favourite parts is later when Jay's about to go back to work, and it's him saying goodbye to Shell about how long he's going to be away, etc. And it cuts to him like pretending to be a monkey in front of his son to like to make him laugh, and it's just so it's really just like really emotional. I thought I just love that.
From that same scene, he's like acting like a monkey, and then he like hugs his son, and then there's a shot of him in the car, and it's a shot out the back of the car window looking at his wife and son, and they're just waving at him like that, and it's creepy as fuck because like the music's playing over. It looks uncanny. I can't explain why. It's just like all encompassing. Like, I don't know. Just give me the judders.
Give you the willies. So Shell so they're a very, very toxic couple. But Shell is basically getting on him because he hasn't worked for 8 months. And Paul, do you want to explain what Jay's job is?
So Jay and Gal are ex-military, and since leaving the military, they have struggled to reintegrate themselves back into society. Getting a normal job, I feel for these two would be impossible. They're highly skilled, highly trained killers, essentially, aren't they, from their military days? So we learn Gal and Jay are contract killers, hitmen, and the reason why he hasn't worked in 8 months is because their last job was in Kiev, and it is hinted at, we're not exactly told or shown what actually happened, but something really bad went down in Kiev. There are a lot of hints and stuff, but it doesn't tell us, which is good. We don't need that exposition. We don't need to know.
I was just about to say, imagine if they had flashback scenes in the film so much.
Or like an exposition scene where he's like, we're not in Kiev anymore. He's like, what about that baby? Like, just doesn't need it. It's so much more unsettling that you don't know, because like I could ask both of you right now, what do you think happened? And we'd probably all have a similar but different idea. So let's say 100,000 people have seen this film. You probably got 100,000 different ideas of what it is, and like their storytelling has created those images and ideas in our minds, because I've got like a specific idea of what actually happened. You know, it is, as I say, it is hinted at, so we'd be on the same lines, but like films need to do that more. You know, they need to they need to trust the viewer to come up with their own thoughts and ideas. You know,
it's very clever world building with just doing like the bare minimum. It's the same thing in Breaking Bad with, you know, Gus Fring. They say to him he's got a backstory of something happened to him in Chile, and like one of the bad guys goes, I know who you are and I know what happened in Chile, and they never tell you in the show that it's creates all the theories and mad shit. It's great.
It's just the same theory, isn't it, of like a scary monster in a film. Like if you don't see it, it's so much. I know that's really obvious to say.
Right, so when I was in the cinema, this other trailer came on. I don't even remember what the film was called, because the very last second of it, I was like, I probably won't ever watch that. And it was like these two guys, their car broke down. One of them got out to make a phone call, and when we got back into the car, the other guy was gone. I was like, all right, this is interesting. The body of the other guy smashes into the windscreen, and the guy panics and drives off. And as he's driving, he sees his mate on the side of the road, and he keeps on driving, and then he sees his mate again, and he's just like smiling at him. I was like, oh, fucking hell, time loop. This looks all right. And then the camera does a first person pan from like the driver to the right, and it's just this face that just goes, rah! And I was like, fuck that.
Damn, that first half of that sounded pretty good though. If
it just stopped then and left it to my imagination, I just feel like I know what's going to happen now. If I ever do watch a film, I don't even remember what it's called, because like I don't give a shit. It isn't obvious to filmmakers these days to not show the monster. You know, don't give us everything. Let your audience like have a bit of imagination. You know, like don't treat the audience like they're kids that need to be spoon fed all fucking exposition and all the info that you need to understand the film. Like if I was a filmmaker, I'd rather the audience left having to make their own decisions on what they've just seen and having to think about the actual film, rather than just going, I know everything that happened, that's the end of that, good night, and I don't need to think about it again.
It's definitely a thought provoker, this one. There's so much you can infer sugar, and like the entire plot itself. Like I'm spoiling it now. It's never clear about what the twist is at the end, why all this is happening. And this is the only time that I've watched it right through, and I've come up with my own theory about what is actually going on. Because all the other times I was just like, oh, that is mad, and it doesn't make sense at the end. I didn't sit down and think about it, but watching it this time with a critical eye, I was like, right, this is what I think's going on. But I'll explain that later. So Shell and Jay are hosting a dinner party for Gal and his new girlfriend Fiona. Shell sends Jay to the shop to get everything. He comes back with like 10 bottles of wine and 24 cans of tuna and no toilet roll. And she's fucking just on him again. She's like, I left your list on there, didn't you get it? And he's just like, oh, fucking leave it out, Shell. They're just going at each other. They fucking... Quickly before I go, what I did notice on this, a couple of times when they have a fight, they're talking to somebody else about the fight, and they say to that other person, she says it to Gal, and Jay says it to the son. They say, well, he started it, or she started it. Do you know? It's just like, oh, fuck off. Like, just grow up, man.
Yeah. Again, back to like the realism of the script and the talking in this film, stuff like that. He's just like spinning around on that kitchen stool, and, like messing around. I don't know. The way it's done, I do not think that would be scripted, because it's just so realistic. Like, it's exactly what you'd do, and she's like, babe, can you stop? And that's
it's not framed like a typical film where it would be the shot of him arguing back and the shot of her arguing back, you know, like back and forth like that, maybe with a wide shot in there somewhere. It's like a handheld camera following them and going from the other to the other while she's fucking around, like putting stuff in the fridge and whatever, and he's, as you say, he's just spinning on that chair. Calls her a Wally at some point as well. It's like they're constantly trying to provoke each other. She's like digging into him about getting back to work, and he's doing things like that, spinning the chair because he knows it's going to wind her up. And later on, when he finds that rabbit in the garden, cooks it and sits in the garden eating it, just staring at it through the window. And the son's like, what's Dad doing? He's like, oh, he's showing off. This poor kid having these two as parents. Like,
I know, right?
So it's dinner party time. We meet Jay's best friend and business partner Gal, and like you said, they've been working as hitmen since leaving the army. And Gal is also trying to get Jay to return to work. He's lined up this high-paying job for them, and he's also told Shell about it, which is why she's on Jay's case. And like a bit later on, like as they're both pissed and leaving, like Jay grabs her, he's like, don't you ever go by my back again. And they start like fighting in the garden. Rolling around in the bushes, just digging each other.
Does he rip his jeans or his trousers? And he's like, oh, fuck, they're fucking ripped now. And I was like, I felt so sorry for him. He's like, well, this shit's fucked.
Also with Gal is his new girlfriend Fiona, who we met at Boxercise, and apparently she's a firecracker in the sack, because later on when they're talking, the locker room talk, he's like, oh, she's a demon in the sack, and he's like, really? Go on, details. And he's like, well, let me tell you, I had to shave my pubes off afterwards.
Oh man, it's just Michael Smiley's delivery as well. I think it's just fucking spot on.
So the four of them have this very awkward dinner where Shell and Jay just won't stop sniping at each other and baiting each other, because he takes like the whole rack of meat, and she's like, why didn't you tell me? He's like, I don't want to humiliate you in front of your friends, or something like that. And then they're just they're going back and forth, and you can see it building. Like Neil Maskell's just like, he's just his eyes, I can feel his headache. So she has a fucking good few shots at him in this. What is it? She's like, says something about, she's like, oh, your idea of working now is like, I can't remember what she says. It's like such a fucking arsey comment. And then Michael Smiley's like, yeah, you don't stretch much beyond your front door anymore, do you, mate? And he's just like, what the fuck is fucking going on? He's like, you don't go much further than your front door these days. And she's like, well, to the jacuzzi.
Yeah. But he gets one back, doesn't he? He gets one back on his wife when he's like, what, you fucking serve the fucking gravy in a fucking Pyrex?
And she realizes, she's like, oh shit, so she goes to change it in the middle of the dinner. Fucking just... Oh, you can tell they were all just like, the cast and the director were all in the same room just coming up with this, can't you? Just on the fly. Yeah. It's so fucking good.
Do you know what? If you took away like the ominous music and like the feeling of dread, that would actually be quite a funny comedy skit. Like, I never noticed it until like my last night's rewatch, that he takes all of the ribs, because he's like cutting through it. He's like, fucking hell, you need a circular saw to get through it. And she's like, well, you wouldn't if you didn't take all of the ribs. He was like, what? And he like, the camera pans back to the dish, and like that was the only like set of ribs that they had, and he thought it was just
it's like a bit from the royal family, isn't it? You know, like you say, there was none of that, none of the dread. Yeah,
and then obviously the gravy in the jug.
the pirate.
Yeah, it's just like it's very, very humorous, but it doesn't feel good. You know, like we're laughing at it now, but it's like when you're watching, it's like, oh no, just like one thing's gonna tip anyone over the edge at this point. We're like 10 minutes in, and you just already know that there's a very, very thin layer of ice where these people are standing on. You know, and
it's this bit now, like Jay's the first one to crack because he just like tips his plate over. He's like, I'm fucking finished, and like she's won. She's like, I got it. And he gets up and he does that fucking like magic move in the what is it? The tablecloth just pulls it out. All the plates go fucking everywhere.
The plates don't go everywhere. That's the even funnier thing. Is that I think they meant to, but he did it so well. They all stay on the thing. He must have been like, they just kept rolling.
Hard. When he does it, he goes abracadabra. It's perfect. I think one thing falls off the table.
Yeah.
And he storms off into the next room, and Shell is like, right, here we go, I'm just getting warmed up, and she gets off and she follows him out, and you just hear the shout, and she is screaming at him, and he's like, fuck off. It's fucking horrible. Their son, who is called Sam, is watching all this, so Gal takes him up to bed, and I quite like the warmth between these two. He like comforts him in a way. He tells him, mummy and daddy's fight all the time. It doesn't mean anything. They're best friends. Forget about it. It's nothing, you know. I did notice as well in Sam's room, there's like loads of pictures of King Arthur shit, you know, like Camelot and castles, and that's what he's into, isn't it? Because a bit earlier, after one of their other fights, you see Shell and Jay have made up, and they're fighting, aren't they, with King Arthur's swords, and that's very foreshadowing something that happens at the end of the film.
I like the dialogue between Gal and Sam at this point. He's like, don't you ever drink, really? Like, you promise, don't ever drink. He's like, what, not even water? He's like, especially not that shit, I'll shrink your balls. It's just, he's got such a like good like uncle, like the fun uncle, isn't he?
Yeah.
And like the dialogue's just spot on.
He's got that quick Irish wit.
Yeah.
He's just like nothing, barely anything that comes out of his mouth is serious. Even when they've got like a ridiculously serious meeting later on, he's still he's like, so there's no wiggle room then? There's like this is very, very, this is life or death at this point.
There's no wiggle. I forgot about that.
Can we just quickly pop back to the sword fight garden scene, because that is like, so like, yeah, I know we're not doing this like in our usual way where we go through everything bit by bit, but I think we just need to talk about that because yes, it does come up later on. It is foreshadowing something that happens later, but it's also I'm going to use this word a lot throughout this, but it's fucking super ominous. They're playing, it looks like a family having fun, and they are, because he's bought those foam swords and they're like having proper family time, but it's kind of in like slow motion with like that just tone over the top. It's just like whoa, just like whistling and fucking how to make a happy family scene make me feel like I'm gonna die just by watching it. Like the anxiety that it gives you, it's so good.
So I completely agree with everything you said, but it was really funny watching this with Izzy because it's just funny how people see stuff so differently. She was like, oh, it looks like a GCSE drama scene. Whenever they put the music over it and stuff, she was like, what is this music?
So Gal finally convinces Jay that it's time to get back to work, and Jay agrees to the job because it's they won't even have to leave the country. 3 names won't even have to leave the country. And Jay and Shell make up for what is probably the 10 millionth time, and the group all get drunk and actually start having a laugh, like playing in the garden. Looks like a really fun night now that the tensions are eased. But again, a bit later on when like Gal and Fiona leave, Jay's like, oh fuck, that's over. And just like sits in the empty jacuzzi smoking and drinking beer by himself. What we do see at this point is Fiona. We haven't really mentioned Fiona. She is what do you think of Fiona? I think she looks ghostly. You know, there's something really odd about this woman.
She is one of 2 actors in this film that were in Ideal.
Oh, is she in Ideal?
She is in Ideal. She's the one who's like Psycho Paul's like missus, and like they walk around, they look very similar and they have the same voice and that. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Psycho Paul's like, alright, senor. She's like, Psycho Paul. Yeah. So that's what I know her from. I don't know if I've seen her in anything else, to be honest.
Toast of London, she's in.
Okay.
Oh, is she?
That's yeah. I don't remember from any of these things. I didn't recognise her from Ideal at all.
Yeah, she's a social worker in that, but she's just also a kleptomaniac as well.
Who's the other actor from Ideal in this?
Ben Crompton is the other actor who...
Jon Snow's mate.
Yes, Jon Snow's mate in... God, I loved him in Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah,
he was one of my favourite side characters in Game of Thrones. He plays, obviously, the guitar playing Christian...
He's in... have you seen Motherland, the TV show? What's his name again? What's his name?
Ben Crompton. Also in an episode of Marcella with Anna Friel.
I thought he might have been in another Ben Wheatley film because the Psycho Paul from Ideal, the guy who plays him, can't remember his name off the top of my head, he's in A Field in England.
Ben Crompton's in Rebecca.
Oh, is he? Yeah. I've not seen that, actually. Yeah, so he's pretty good. Pretty good.
So Fiona, she's Fiona she's Gal's new girlfriend, and she excuses herself from the fun and games to go to the bathroom, and she carves this symbol on the back of the mirror that's hanging up. Like, it's this fucking like Blair Witch style. Do you know what's it look like to you? 'Cause to me, it looks like an arrowhead or like a Christmas tree. You know,
looks a bit like the Deathly Hallows symbol from Harry Potter.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say that. So, have you listened to the director's commentary on this?
No.
I listened to it years ago, and I think this is right. I think it's Ben Wheatley and Neil Maskell, and I think they're talking about when this film came out, and the Deathly Hallows had come out like a few months before it, and they were like, we chose the wrong fucking time to release this. It was like, everyone thought it was I think that's right, if I can remember it right. And he was like, everybody was coming after me saying it looked like the bloody Harry Potter thing.
Thing is, though, it's like a folk pagan looking symbol, isn't it? Like, all of them look like that.
Yeah.
They're all based on something. They're not just like
like a Viking rune, a Nordic rune, isn't it? You know, they could have chose anything.
Yeah.
Imagine if she'd have wrote "kill list" on the back of it.
Well, we see this symbol at the very beginning of the film, don't we? It gets like scribbled onto the screen. Apparently, I think it was Amy Jump, the co-writer, said she really didn't like that symbol being shown at the beginning. But I think Ben Wheatley was like, nah, it's sound.
I'm probably with her on that. Mind you, I suppose it doesn't matter really. I would have gone without it, but I suppose it doesn't really matter.
It's on the film poster as well. If you look at the poster, it's got Neil Maskell's face sort of faded in with the symbol in the background and like woods and fire and stuff. So it is a big part of the film, you know, it's a big part of the marketing. Or like I
think I'm with Dan though. I guess I wouldn't really have it in, but I don't know. But then saying that again, it's different how people see it, because like when this first came on, and it's got like that horrible music and stuff like that, like Izzy was like, oh fuck, like what have you put on? This looks like terrifying, you know?
I didn't notice it on my first viewing because at the beginning of a lot of films, they do have symbols that pop up from different companies that were involved, don't they? So I don't remember noticing this as something for the film, so I didn't connect it. And I certainly didn't connect it after I saw her scratch it into the back of the mirror on my first viewing, of course. But without jumping ahead too far, we see this symbol later on as well. So after what goes down after the second hit, Jay's gone home and Gal is at his house, and he receives something in the post, doesn't he, from people who've hired them, and it's photos of him and Jay whilst on a...
Does he get that from
in
the
He
post?
gets from the safe.
He gets it from the safe of the librarian, I'm sure. When he goes upstairs to rob the safe, he takes all his documents.
Sorry, I must have missed that, but I just remember him just having it and opening it, so I thought it was in the post. But whatever. The point I'm making is that within that stuff, you see a little white piece of paper with that symbol on it.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
While we're on the subject as well, there's in that envelope, there's the photos of them doing surveillance on one of the... I assume it's the priest, right? The photographs of them. But also there's a picture of a tomb, like a king's tomb. I had to pause it to see it. I searched for it online, and it's like it looks like the tomb of Edward the Black Prince, who was meant to be king, but he died in I think he died in battle. Actually, died in Agincourt. He died in battle with the French. But it's like, you know, like one of those coffins that's got the shape of the man on the top, the shape of the body with their arms crossed.
I'm looking at it now,
and I think that's something to do with the plot at the end. If you we'll get to that. But yeah, that was a picture that falls out of that envelope, which I thought was a little detail. Sorry, Paul. Go on. What were you saying?
No, it's all right. I didn't notice that myself, so I will have a look back at that. But all I was going to say was that if you're paying attention, which there's so much going on that your first viewing you probably wouldn't notice. If you're paying attention, this symbol is shown at least 3 times up to that point. So it's the intro, her scratching it in the mirror, and then in the parcel thing that he has. You could easily connect that this is some kind of cult or something because she's involved. They're the people who are orchestrating it, because that's the connection between picture picture that he finds and the symbol that she draws. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It comes on at the start of the film and it looks like a film production company logo. Can you imagine if she just drew the MGM lion on the back of the mirror? So the next morning, Jay goes to drop Gal's car off, and Gal is just chilling in the garden, and he says, "Oh, Fiona's dumped me for reasons that aren't explained." So they go to meet the new employer, who is just known as the client, and it's this old dude who meets him in the function room of the hotel, those fucking liminal hotels that we've mentioned. This dude looks fucking real. He looks like the Emperor from Star Wars. He's just this ancient man, and the suit that he's wearing is just so cheap looking, like it's a proper Primark special. You know, it just looks awful. Like this dude's
I was trying to
creepy as
put my
hell.
finger on this guy. Like, why does he look so weird? Because I was like, oh, like lots of old dudes have got like hair like that, and like, I mean, his eyes are like black, but I don't know what it is just about him, but he just looks fucking terrifying. Like, imagine that was like your granddad or something.
He actually looks a bit like the
come on.
grandpa from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know, in the suit.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Yeah, like it. Yeah, fuck.
It's I don't know. It's the casting is so good because he's just I don't know. Like that hotel again, it's that massive wide shot, and he's just sat in the middle of that dining hall, tapping his spoon on the cup of tea.
What makes him scary for me is the fact that he's just got this air of, I know something you don't know, and I'm not going to tell you. That's what it is, you know.
Speaking of like suits, did you see Jay's suit that he's wearing? It's like those trousers are so long, they're like going under his shoes when he's making that phone call. It's like going underneath his back, down his heel, and then just touching the floor. And it's just like, you can tell that this dude is one of those blokes who only owns one suit. He wears it every time he needs to. Like every wedding that he goes to, any party or anything like that, any funeral, he's just...
Absolutely, yeah.
Quickly going to them checking into the hotel. They use Jay's bank card, but it declines, and he looks like a ripe tit. He's like, oh, no. And Gal's just like, I'll get it, mate. Don't worry about it. So Jay just uses this as an excuse to go and like phone up Shell and have a go at her. He said to her, I'll see you in a few weeks when I get back, and he's literally been gone for a day, and he's like, right, so I'm going to phone her up and give her some abuse now. And he's like, it makes me and Gal stand out, doesn't it? Those two fellas whose card declined, which is, you know, a good point. But then later on, when they're having dinner, he goes and threatens those Christians, like snatches the top. It's like, I'm going to fucking kill you. Like, I think that makes you a bit more conspicuous, you know? So it's just like any excuse to have a go at his wife, he just takes it.
The receptionist that greets them, she's like, you don't look like traveling salesman. And they just look at each other, just like, it's like she is so suspicious to me, because like I've worked in a hotel receptionist would never say that to a guest. Like, it doesn't even matter what their job is, you would never speak like that. And it's just like there's something about her, she is very suspicious to me.
I think that a lot of that's done intentionally just to add to like the vague paranoia that's all over this film. I think.
Oh, of course, yeah.
That doesn't stop Michael Smiley and his Irish charm with that lady though, does it? You know, he's like as if he's in like a different film.
So we meet the client, and then to seal the deal, the client cuts Jay's hand and then cuts his own hand, and then they sign the contract in blood, which is just this empty piece of paper that they drip blood on. And this cut will not heal for the rest of the film, and we may as well talk about it now. A bit later on, it gets infected, and he just looks fucking gross.
Yeah,
I completely forgot about not the knife cut, but when it gets infected later, and it's like he's got hives or whatever the fuck it is, like going all over his body. It's fucking horrible.
And Shell's like, you need to go see a doctor. He's like, no, I'll just get some cream or something.
The most bloke thing to say.
When he's washing the cut under a tap, and you can just see the way the blood's coming out, because the water's making it come out more, I think.
Yeah.
It looks so realistic. Like, I've had cuts before where it's come out of my skin like that. Like, the blood flow is perfect. It is like, I've never seen such a realistic cut and blood flow ever.
It's done really well.
And then once he like wraps it up a little bit, he's like, just like the little details of like, you put your hand there, I'll walk on your left kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. The dialogue again in this bathroom scene when Michael Smiley's Gal's like trying to look at all the shampoos and stuff, and he's just like, he's like, what do you think he meant by that? He's like, don't know, just trying to let you know that he knows that you know that he knows. And he's like, yeah, but knows what? He's like, I don't know. It's just like the most bloke conversation where they're just like, oh yeah, it could be like,
he's like washing that's like quite a serious cut on his hand, and he's just like taking the bottles of shampoo. He's
like, look at that, it's posh stuff. He's like Uncle Frank in Home Alone though, and he's like, that's crystal, that's real crystal, put that in your purse.
So the first target on the kill list is the priest. Now, did you recognise the actor that played the priest? Because I did. As soon as I saw his face.
He's Gog from Peep Show.
I just had this image of like when he walks into his office and he sees Neil Maskell holding the gun there, turn around going, Honda!
Crunchy nut cornflakes. Pretty expensive as I recall.
Maybe that was the he's been on the kill list before, they didn't get him. Super Hands was the hitman.
I want a kebab now.
Please let me do the music for your Honda, Phil. Oh man.
I quite like the way this is all put together because it's sort of like a not a montage, but like all scenes spliced together with the priest giving his final sermon, smoking a cigarette, putting the candles out, tidying up.
I would say it is a montage. Yeah,
and then you've got like Gal and Jay who would just like Gal's just like, oh, I'm not sure if we should be killing a priest, and Jay's like, oh, sorry, he probably fucks kids.
I don't mean to correct you, but I just rewound it because it made me laugh. He's like probably shagging kids or something. Gal is a Catholic, isn't he? So he isn't quite on board with killing a priest because even though he doesn't show his that side of the religion throughout the film, other than when at the dinner party when Fiona's like, it's all the same though, isn't it? He's like, not really, love.
Yeah.
She's talking about Catholics and Protestants.
But the thing is though, is he a Catholic? Because he's served in the British Army, which I know Catholics can, but I got the impression he was like a unionist because he says something about well, you should come and have a go with the mix then, shouldn't you? And I can't tell if he's saying you should come and have a go at my people or you should have come and served over in Northern Ireland with me when I was against the Republicans. They kind of leave it ambiguous of which one because I was like, well, which one is he? What side are you on? Because you were in the British Army where you met Jay, but I don't know. Somebody with better knowledge than me might know more nuance about it and be able to give us a proper answer. Right, yeah. So they hide in the priest's. Are they in his like confession booth together? Like they're. The priest walks in. He finds the whole room has been covered up with not cellophane or cling film. What is it? What's it? Tarp. Yeah, there's like a tarp put down over everything. He turns around and he just smiles at Jay and thanks him. And Jay puts one in him and wipes him out. And yeah, this is where the film gets like a bit weird now from now on. So I mean, it's been weird and like horrible already, but now it gets like if you're not paying attention. I mean, even if you are paying attention, you might not have a clue what the hell's going on.
There's one thing about this scene which I don't like, and it's the CGI blood from the reverse angle shot. I really, really wish they just hadn't cut to the priest's head like exploding. If they just stayed on Jay, that's my one gripe with it.
There is a bit of trivia about that somewhere. Right, so I'm going to read this exactly how it's written here. The priest is shot, and while they had cast his head with plans to blow it out in a bloody mess, they instead ended up having to use mediocre CG instead. So from what I gather from that is they intended to have like a practical effect for that, but they had to use CG. I actually didn't really notice it, but
it's always stuck with me. I think it would have just been sick if Jay was just there. He was like, turn around, and then he says thank you, turns around, you see Jay fire the shot.
I do love the shot of Jay like coming out from between those curtains, and there's like a shadow. He's shrouded in shadows except for like a little bit of his face and the gun, and he looks like he's so fucking focused on what he's doing at this point. There's no anger in his eyes. There's like almost no emotion. He's just like zoned in on what he's about to do.
Could that be the image that's on the front of the poster?
That's what I was literally just about to say. I think I've just got the poster up now, and I think it's a screen grab from that.
It could be. I'm sure he's facing the front a little bit more though, but it definitely
might be from the same clip though. Yeah, I reckon it is definitely.
Well, that's such a good image though of him just coming from behind the curtains. Oh yeah.
Gal's not in there with him.
No, he's behind. I think he's in there as well. He's behind Jay. That's what I thought.
I thought Gal sat that one out because it was a priest.
No, because they both enter the office. Do they both enter the office though? Yeah. He's definitely there when they wrap and incinerate the body. Yeah. I got the impression he was in the confessional booth with him or whatever that little structure is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they wrap the priest's body and throw it into this incinerator, and just even the body going into the incinerator just looked really grim and horrible. It's just so grotty. Yeah. So the next target is the librarian, who is this like just normal looking middle middle-aged man who operates out of this industrial unit in the middle of some city. They watch him like walk off, so they decide to check out what's in his lockup, and they find shipping containers full of shelves, and the shelves are full of just random pornography. And they're like, oh, he's a porno dealer. And then they're like, no, it can't be. There's not enough of it. But what is most disturbing to Gal and Jay is they discover this DVD collection. Gal's the first to watch it, and he's like, fuck. And he's like, turns it off. He's like, oh, I'm not watching the rest of that. And Jay's like, what is it? And he's like, don't watch it, mate. He's like, well, I've got to now, haven't I? And then it cuts to Jay, and he's like, tearful watching whatever's on these DVDs. Like, I'm not going to say what it's implied to be, but yeah, it's pretty gross, and it makes him very, very angry. As if he needed a reason.
Yeah, it's videos of his wife.
It's a video of his wife being happy. That has pissed him off something rotten.
At this point, though, I think this is the turning point where this has become more than just a job for Jay. This is like not personal to him, but it's fucking personal to his morals and everything he stands for, because he does mention later or earlier about hurting kids or something like that. But I think this is where everything starts going really, really quickly downhill for his mental state in this film.
And it wasn't that great to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. Because I watched True Detective not that long ago as well. There's a very similar scene in True Detective as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, almost exactly the same scene. Whenever I think about this film, I think of the final scene in the woods, and I think of this scene now with the librarian. So they track down the librarian to his house. You know, it's semi-detached in the middle of a normal street house. They break in and they tie him to a chair and they torture him. They get in there and they kick 7 bells of shit out of this man, and he's pleading for his life. He's like, what? I haven't done nothing. I'm not who you think I am. And then they're like, we've seen the lockup, and he's like, oh shit.
Back to, like the set design and stuff like that. This house is like,
I know, it's fucking gross.
Like, you can tell this guy bought this house or whatever, like back in late 80s, early 90s, and it just looks fucking disgusting. Like the carpet and the kitchen, and it's just
you can tell his wife
so well done that
his wife probably decorated, and then she's passed away, and he's just left it like that,
Yeah, basically. I don't know whether it's because like the age we are or stuff like that, but like a house like that is, for me, feels like very liminal, like backroomsy vibes. Like if you woke up there, you just want to leave.
Looks like Ken Barlow's house.
Literally fucking does, yeah.
Yeah, so like instead of just killing this dude and moving on, they want the names or the location of where these DVDs were filmed. And the guy's like, oh, I'm not going to tell you. So they're like, right, that's Jay. Jay is like, I'm going to have a good time with this now. So he's like burning him with cigarettes and bashing his face on the table and really just like going for it. And it cuts away and then it smash cuts back. And he's like, all right, it's 24 Greenwald Street or something like that. And Gal's like, right, we've done that. Can you just finish him off now, please? I'm going to go upstairs and rob the safe. The wet bandits. And this is where it just gets fucking weird now. So when Gal leaves the room, the librarian's demeanor, his whole demeanor just changes, and he's like, does he know who you are? And Jay's like, what? He's like, I feel very grateful to have known you. And it's like the whole act of being scared and tortured was just like an act. It's like he was putting the whole thing on the whole time. This just sets Jay off. He's like, right, where's my bloody hammer? And this is like probably, I always say I think we mentioned this on the first ever episode of the podcast, or maybe the Halloween 2 episode, the hammer claw. Sorry, the fucking claw hammer. Fucking I did it again. Basically, Jay just like tortures this dude with a hammer, like smashing his kneecaps, smashing his hands. It's fucking, what do you think?
The kneecap bit for this is the fucking worst for me. It's just, obviously, you see him like whack him in the head and stuff like that, but just the kneecap bit, that really fucking got me.
Yeah, this whole scene just looked fantastic. Like, for what it is, it looked so realistic. I've not seen that happen to anybody in real life, but it doesn't look like a film. It doesn't look like what you would see in a film usually. The fingers, the smashing of the fingers, and then, I don't know if Dan, you were waiting to talk about it, but the final part of this very scene.
Oh, so they lay him down on the table, don't they? And he picks the hammer up as if he's just like going to smash him in the head with it, which he does, but it's a still shot. It doesn't cut away. Like, I don't know what the trickery was to get the actor to lay down and to replace replace him with the mannequin that Neil Maskell smashes the head in because the camera doesn't cut away. He brings the hammer down and it just, his head explodes, but not cartoon, not like in a Friday the 13th film sort of way. Just
it looks like a butcher chopping up meat on the fucking table because when he brings the hammer back up, there's just like bits flying up, and he hits him about 4 times with it, and it does not cut. The camera doesn't move. There's no dramatic music. I don't know if there's music, but there's no drama to it. It's just that still shot. You are not allowed to look away from this. And it kind of happens really quickly, doesn't it? It comes out of nowhere.
I think that's another good thing about the scene as well. Throughout the whole thing, I think you're right, Paul. There is no music, and it's just very again, kitchen sink drama, British drama.
So Gal comes back downstairs with the contents of the safe, which is, it's like they've got enough money now to sack off the rest of the kills if they want, buy themselves out the contract. And he's also got the envelope, which we'll talk about in a bit. But Jay wants to go to the address that they were given to sort out the guys who've been making these videos. So they drive to that builder's yard, and Jay's like, right, I'm going in there, give me 20 minutes. Right? And Cal's just waiting there, just whistling his car, do 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 do. And then he's like, oh fuck, I better go and check on him because who knows what's happened. So he walks in, gets the shotgun, and he walks in and he sees the aftermath of Jay's rampaging warpath through this fucking paedophile network, basically. The first guy's dead, and the dog is dead as well. And then when he finds the room where those DVDs were being filmed, right? There's the mattress, there's a grotty mattress. It's fucking, I don't want to go into that bit, but it's the way Gal comes around the corner with a gun, and he just sees Jay just banging this guy's head into the wall, right? And Jay's been gone for 20 minutes. So how long has he been doing this? Just dead eye, just. And when he throws the guy on the floor, and this guy has got no face left. He's just blood and bone. It's fucking just, yeah.
And then he goes, was that 20 minutes?
Gal's like, what are we going to do about him? And Jay just pulls the gun out and just puts one in him just to be sure. It's fucking, I don't think he was living, fucking. They've gone really off-piste with this one, haven't they?
The lighting in this scene is just dirty. It's almost like what Saw wanted to be, dirty, grim, rustic kind of setting, in an old warehouse. It's just, God, it gives you some feelings.
I think it's I imagine this was just, the builder's lights you can get when you're decorating a house and stuff at night. You just put it in. I think there's one of them in there, and I think that's probably the only lighting they used to light it.
Yeah. Probably also in universe and what they used to make the film as well. So yeah.
Yeah, legit. Yeah. Because even all the dinner scenes and stuff in the house and stuff doesn't look like it's been lit, which is a good thing. But it's it's we'll just make it look realistic. We'll just use natural light.
Yeah. Without cutting forward to any of the plot, there's a part where they're running in the dark, and it made me think of, James, you mentioning in Friday the 13th Part 7, where you mentioned about the lighting in the forest was just insane because it was just so unreal and unnatural. But in this, there's a 7-minute or so long scene where they're running in the dark, and the only light is coming from their head torches and some things in the background. But it's so hard to see what's going on, but it makes it a million times better because it's realistic, and it's it leaves it more to your imagination, and it's just the sounds of horror that's happening around them. And
another bit of odd lighting choice. Again, I'm jumping ahead as well. But when they're about to do the next job and they're both in the woods, they're surveying the house, the mansion, the MP's mansion. They're looking at it at first, and then Gal goes to sleep, and then it cuts a bit later on, and Jay is bathed in this red light, and it's where's that coming from? What is it? There's no.
It's the fire, isn't it?
Yeah, but they haven't got a fire. Have they got a fire going? Because
not their fire. No, they start getting illuminated by the.
No, this is before the cult guys turn up.
I think it's it's probably just a camping light or something that's red.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Because it is so red that it can't be light from anywhere else. It's directly on his face. You can literally just see a bit of his forehead and a bit of his cheek. The light is fucking perfect. I'd love to draw that because it's I love shadowy drawings, obviously. I'm sure it's just you can get camping lights that you just hang on a hook on the inside of your tent, but it's just probably a red one or something. I don't know.
So they want to give up on the job, so they sort of go back, and when Jay goes home, you see that Fiona has been visiting Shell, and she's also said this on the phone as well, that Shell's been coming around, they've been drinking wine and all this, and she's I didn't like her at first, but I think she's all right now.
And she gives the son a birthday present, and Jay's on the phone, he's that's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then when he goes home, and he goes home, and they see that the cat has been murdered, literally tied up and strung up, and they're what the fuck has done this? And Shell's oh, it's got to be some weird kids, and Jay's just probably gypsies.
Oh, there's a bit. I'm not sure which bit we're into it now, but there's a whole bit where Jay looks out of his hotel window.
Yeah. I was going to say that he's been dreaming about Fiona as well. So he looks out his hotel window and sees her. And again, because the way the film is, it's not clear if it's a dream, because it cuts to him waking up in a panic, but then he may have actually seen her, and the film has just cut to him waking up. You know, it's
he
left,
waves back, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, it's left quite ambiguous.
I love the fact that it is left ambiguous.
Yeah, because if it stated, if he mentioned it later, as if it had really happened, it would be like, oh, okay, now we know, and now there's no mystery for us to think about, you know? So.
Yeah, definitely.
But just to say about that as well, she would know where he was, but how would she have gotten there from if she'd have just been at the house not that long ago? I don't know how far away they are, but, you know.
Yeah.
So the bit with the cat, I was watching this with my cat, and my cat actually watches TV. She'll lie on me and stare at the TV. I don't know what, you know, she's just watching the movements or whatever. And I was like, I knew this bit was coming, and I was like hiding her eyes so she couldn't see it.
Yeah, so we mentioned before about Jay's hand wound getting infected, so he goes to see the doctor, but his usual doctor's not there, and this random dude who just doesn't give him any medical advice whatsoever. He's like, you should just live in the moment and forget about the past. That'd be really good, yeah. And he's like, where's my real doctor?
He's like, where's Dr. Betkin? And then he's just like, the past is behind you. The future hasn't happened yet. You need to live in the present. And he's like, what are you going to do about my end?
You haven't even looked at it yet.
This acting from Neil Maskell is just great, because he's just so deadpan, and he should be more worried at this point, but he's just staring at him.
What do we think there's going on here then?
The doctor, his real doctor, is not there, and we find out at the end that this doctor one of the cultists at the end.
Yeah, he's the first one who takes off his hood.
Yeah, so when they all unmask later on, we see that the client, Fiona, and this doctor are all part of the cult, aren't they? They're the only... Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they never quite explain what he's doing there, but it's just to be an unsettling moment, I think.
Yeah, again, they don't need to.
True.
To me, it gives me this feeling that this is way bigger than it shows. Because Fiona mentions that she works in, is it PR?
Human resources.
Oh, HR, yeah, sorry. And Gal calls her a hatchet man. And Jay says, does it not make you feel bad? Or something along those lines about laying people off. And she's like, it's for the greater good or something like that. And it's
the greater good.
All of these the greater good. All these little bits are just implying that there's something much bigger going on, especially now with their final job being a member of parliament. You know, there's just so much, it goes so much higher than...
Yeah, I'm with that. And I also think it's, Paul, me and you both think that imposters are terrifying, or, so this,
Absolutely.
Again, it adds another layer of that to this film. Yeah, you're right.
People tricking people pretending to be what they are, and shady cover-ups, all this kind of stuff is just fucking... it just gets me so much. I choose this kind of horror over ghosts or jump scary shit or gore.
Yeah.
There is a bit of gore in this, but I choose this unsettling feeling over anything. Honestly, it's just so good.
Speaking of this is a side note, by the way. Did you see all that stuff recently about Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Yeah.
How fucking weird was that? And everyone oh no, his eyes have changed colour. He looks slightly different. How is that him?
It's because he hasn't been in the limelight for nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
As a guy who you see all the time. So of course he's going to have aged.
Yeah.
He's had a bit of work done as well, I think, hasn't he? So, and his voice is a bit different. He's just getting older, isn't he? He's in his 60s. So
he looks like Longlegs.
Yeah.
You know who it was though, right? Yeah.
No, what?
Oh no, it genuinely wasn't Jim Carrey. It was some guy wearing a Jim Carrey mask.
Oh really?
He's a prosthetics guy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I swear down. I'll try and find it. I'll find it and I'll send it to you later. Yes, but it wasn't him. It was some weird guy.
So it actually wasn't him.
I did hear that, but I didn't look into it because I thought that's just dumb. And
it's like that time Bryan Cranston turned up to a Breaking Bad convention wearing a mask of his own face.
I just googled it quickly and it says the first image is Jim Carrey, plastic surgery or clone. It's what?
Yeah.
And then there's a Rolling Stone article that says Jim Carrey did not send an imposter to accept his thing. Makeup artist Alexis Stone claims to be Jim Carrey.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, it's kind of fucking mad, isn't it?
It's creepy. It's creepy.
I don't want to know the true answer now. I'm not going to look into it. I'm just going to leave it as one of those mysteries. Yeah, so Jay and Gal go back to the clients and they say that they'll find replacements for the last job because they don't want to do it anymore. But the client is like, listen, right, we've got a blood pact and we'll kill both your families if you don't carry on. So yeah, it's panic stations and Shell. Jay sends Shell and Sam to the this cottage that they've got to hide them while they go back to finish the job.
So the cult guy, he says, you are cogs, reconstruction, and that heavily implies that they're using Jay as a pawn for something. Well, it doesn't imply that at that point, but it does later on.
Bear in mind that Jay has also killed every person that's died in this film so far. Gal hasn't murdered anybody, so that plays into my theory, I think.
Well, I'm guessing. I think I know what your theory is going to be, or something about your theory, but I'll look forward to hearing.
So we're coming up to the last third of the film now. So they go for their final job, which is the MP, the Member of Parliament. So they're in the woods. They're in the woods outside his house. They're having like the right old little camping trip together, like catching rabbit, killing it, cooking it. And like Gal's like, we should do this more often. And Jay's like, what? Kill rich people? He's like, no, get fresh country air together. It's just so down to earth the way they like carry it on, but the job that they're doing is just so fucking mental.
Gal mentions as well. He says they're looking at the house because they go and scope out the area, don't they? And he's looking at the house and he says nobody should have this. And he's like, what? He's like, no one person should have this, and meaning the house. But I'm sure that Ben Wheatley was he wrote this around the big recession that happened. And it's sort of implied that one of the reasons their money is gone is because of the recession and because of wars that are being caused by the people who aren't fighting them, which are causing lives to be ruined because of higher ups and politicians and shit.
Because these two have both fought in Iraq, haven't they, as well? So they're like, they've come back and there's fuck all there for them. Like if the government was taking care of the soldiers that fought, they wouldn't need to be contract killers, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the reset. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's very like late 2000s feel to this, you know, like say the recession and the war and the MPs' expenses. Do you remember that when all the MPs were just ripping off the taxpayer for their second homes and shit? Yeah,
that had just happened when Ben Wheatley wrote it. So I think a lot of that went into it. Not so much that that's like it's an allegory for that, but that went into it for the thought process and just sort of with that in mind, kind of thing. Yeah, which I think is better than it being on the nose or anything.
Yeah, it's definitely a period piece. This now, the more we think about it, you know, like that sort of era. Not quite the pre-iPhone era, which I was going about the turn of the century, but this is like the pre-social media. Everyone
pre-social media, I would say. Yeah.
That sort of gap between those two things.
Yeah. I guess it could be. I don't know. Like if they didn't have phones and stuff like that, it could be set kind of any time. Maybe nothing really. You know, they don't rely on technology so much.
Yeah, this could be a 70s film, you know, or...
Yeah.
All they had to do is drop the phones that they use, or like maybe bank cards or whatever. They're not really a big part of the plot.
Yeah.
Put this in black and white or make it a bit grainy. It could be from the 70s or something, you know. Yeah. Excuse the cars and whatever, but there's no focus on technology whatsoever, which I find so refreshing in everything.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I can think of that dates it is the DVDs that the librarians got as well, but obviously switch that to videotapes, you know.
Yeah, of course.
But there's a thing now, I think even though DVDs are newer, but DVDs make it seem even older. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because VHS is like, I guess, trendy again, maybe, or
whereas
it's
DVDs
got that like
so
vibe where it's like
out of
cool.
date and obsolete.
Yeah.
So this is for me, this is one of the most tense scenes of the film. So we mentioned that they're scoping out the MP's house and having a little bit of a camping trip. Gal is just sleeping and Jay is just like a nighthawk. His eyes are just like that in the darkness, staring at this house. And he's like, Gal, are you awake? And he's like, oh, well, I wasn't, but I am now. But this scene, just the tension in this scene, it just fucking gets me every time. I'm getting goosebumps to talk about it now. So Jay hears like this little drum in the distance, like a little doom, doom. And then you see this whole, like, it emerges so slowly, this like religious midsummer style parade of like flaming torches and guys wearing long robes and cults. And they just, Paul, do you want to take us through it?
So, they've scoped out the MP's place and they are now finishing their lovely camping trip by having a sleep. Gal is having a nice lovely kip and Jay is, did you say he's awake? He's on the ball anyway. He's probably not relaxed whatsoever. He hears the drums, he sees the lights and he's like, Gal on the job, as we see what is now revealed to be a cult walking in robes, in the masks, in like the wicker masks and all this kind of stuff, and they're walking around. There's a woman who is naked, but is she naked? But but she's covered in money.
Yeah, it's fucking weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Money dress.
I love the fact that, like, they show you this ritual and she's covered in, like, a dress made of money, but they never, again, explain what this is. You've just got to think, like, are they sacrificing her for, what does she represent in this sacrificial play or whatever they're doing? Fuck, it's weird. It's so good.
Well, they walk to the middle of the field that they were going to, and there's probably about 50 or so people there, and the woman climbs onto, it was quite dark, so I couldn't really see that well, but onto like a log or something, and she puts the noose around her neck while Gal and Jay are watching at this point, and she kicks away the stool and begins to hang, while the cult very, very calmly and gently do a very polite little clap, just like, there's nothing else, there's no music, there's no drums, there's no roars, there's no cheers, it's just that little applause, and it's like creepy as fuck. And then Jay's like, fuck this, and pulls out his machine gun, and Gal's like, no, and he opens fire, and after opening fire, we see the one guy who is implied to be the MP that they were after, in his like beautiful white clothes, turns round, smiles, and opens his arms to invite the bullets towards him as Jay shoots him. And then we hear some of the most horrendous sounds in this film. I don't know if that's right to say after all the horrendous shit we did. But some of the most obviously horrendous sounds are squealing, and it sounds like children on a playground kind of thing, and just like people screaming and squeals, and as they all run towards Jay and Gal, who quite rightly shit their pants and run away.
Yeah, so it becomes sort of like a bit of a Resident Evil 4 style shoot 'em up at this point, very action based, which the film hasn't been like that at all, really.
No,
I'm not going to walk through everything bit of what happens, but one thing I do find interesting about this bit is, so when they were scouting their exit route, Gal is like, don't worry, I found a way for us to get out of here and no one will see us. So they sort of run into like the sewers or the catacombs, or what are they, like underground caves or something like that?
Yeah. Catacombs,
yeah, and he either takes a wrong turn or something, or they've bricked up the wall somehow, because they're like, it's like, fuck, this wasn't here before, like what is going on?
I love that so much, like, because I think the cult have done it, because Jay like kicks through it, doesn't he? Because it's like fresh, like freshly done. But the
I was going to say the exact same thing.
They know they're there, so they're like, oh yeah, let's do it whilst they're asleep. It's just like, you just can't. There's so many of them, and they're so high powered. Yeah. There's nothing they don't know.
It does also leave an implication to, is there any involvement from Gal? Because
that's one thing I was going to mention. Yeah, but I'll get to that in my final theory.
Okay, yeah, I knew you were going that way with it, so we'll leave it to that.
So this is where we have to say goodbye to Gal, because he gets... what happens to Gal? He gets injured. He gets mortally wounded, doesn't he, by the cultists?
He gets stabbed by one of them about 100 times. Again, it was really dark, but they were all running through. Gal and Jay get separated, and some of the cult members, or one, I think it was of multiple, because like I said before, the only light is coming from their head torches and from the cult members' flaming torches.
Yeah, I do struggle with this bit as well, because again, you can't see a whole lot. Like, there's a lot of like masked people jumping out of the darkness, getting blown away, like House of the Dead style. So yeah, Gal has been mortally injured. So Jay puts him out of his misery, and and remember this: Gal says thank you, just like everybody else that Jay has killed in this film.
I didn't even pick up on that. Fucking hell.
Yeah. So Jay gets out of the tunnels and he escapes, and he meets up with Shell, and very tense scenes here where he goes back and he sees that the tires of his car have been slashed, but she's like fucking action girl. She's like shotgun straight away. She's gonna kick some fucking ass. Yeah, but the cult guys get in there, and they capture them both. Okay, so Jay and his family have all been captured. Now this is just a fucking mad scene. This is probably the most famous or infamous scene of the film. So Jay wakes up and he's surrounded by the rest of the cult with like flaming torches and all kinds of shit. It looks like a harvest festival at like sunset. It's just gone all dark. So they like strip him off and like put the mask on him. Now what is this? It's like some sort of fucking John Barleycorn mask of like the fertility god or something like that. You know, that episode of Inside Number 9 where they sacrifice the teacher in the Welsh school.
The Welsh school.
It's like that. It's like, it's so Wicker Man, this. It's just so folk. This is why people call this film a folk horror. It's probably because of this final scene, which it is a folk horror, but there's so much more to it as well.
It absolutely is a folk horror film. Obviously, like people talk about this film being like gender bending, I was going to say. Genre bending. genre bending. But it's not like From Dusk Till Dawn, where the first half of the film is clearly a crime film that just suddenly changes. Like, because in that film there are no hints to the end. You know, there's nothing to tell you that this is going to be this. But throughout this film, we get clues quite openly and obviously. We get clues that there's something else happening here, cult kind of stuff. You know, so throughout the film, it's not. I don't think it is a crime film. It is a psychological film, but it's also definitely a folk horror film with all the symbols and like rituals with the blood, with the hand cutting and stuff like that. These are all exact things that folk horror contains. You know, rituals
and again with folk horror as well. So the scary thing about folk horror is not the fact that these ancient gods exist or whatever. It's the people believe in them. That's what's scary about it. And the fact in this film, like the people that believe in them are like MPs and doctors and like all these powerful like priests and all that. And that's what's scary about this. Like the institution itself is crooked and believes in all this shit and they don't give a fuck, which is true to real life. Yeah. So Jay must battle his last victim on the kill list, who is the Hunchback. Now I remember the first time I saw this, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? What is this Hunchback? It's James, do you want to describe the Hunchback?
So Izzy said the exact same thing. She was like, what the fuck is that? Essentially, it looks like, well, you can't really tell what it looks like. It looks like just somebody's bending over. They're sort of attacking him, but not attacking him.
Yeah.
And then I only picked up on this time because I know the ending. It really fucking disturbed me is when you see Jay stab the Hunchback.
Yeah.
You can hear the screaming, the high-pitched screaming.
Ugh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, fucking hell, that's fucking gruesome as hell. It's disgusting. But yeah, essentially just a hunchback.
It's like a Scooby-Doo ghost with just got a sheet over it. You know, it's not, you can't even see what it is. And and you don't know why it's fighting him as well. So it's just fucking weird. It's just so odd.
It works though, because it's almost like the final ritual kind of thing. Like, so it's very believable for a cult of this kind to do, you know. And the Hunchback, it could be in the film Midsummer. They have like the prophets who I know they're not called that in the film, but I can't remember right now. They have the prophets, which are like inbred versions, inbred family members where they haven't bred with outsiders. They've interbred, you know, and they're always deformed and mentally disabled, which leads them to saying weird shit, which aligns with their cult. So to me, it's like an inbred family member, you know, or like someone that they keep in a dungeon or something like that, you know, as the Hunchback. You know? So I remember watching it for the first time and not thinking that much of it, just thinking, oh, it just fits perfectly with the story. You know?
But what is revealed to us? So Jay gets the killing blow on the Hunchback, and like you said, James, this is horrible. So when the sheet gets pulled off the Hunchback, we see that the Hunchback was not a person. It was actually Shell with Sam strapped to his mother's back. So Jay has just killed his wife and son, like stabbed them to death in this like knife fight, and this is fucking horrible. This is
a thing that I didn't remember is Shell's reaction when the sheet is pulled off her.
Yeah, she laughs, doesn't she?
Yeah, she laughs as she's like spitting blood out her mouth, and I don't know whether it's a laugh as in like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
I'm about to die, or to go with your theory, maybe. Dan, I don't know.
No, I buy that she doesn't know any of this. She's like a straight woman in this. She's just like laughing because like fuck, as if this is what's happened to us. This is mental. I don't think she's in on this per se.
I'm under the impression that they're both drugged at this point because he's been knocked out, but he wakes up, but he's kind of wobbly and that. And she's definitely like, if she wasn't drugged, she would know that that's him. Like you can't mistake your own husband's body because he's got no top on. You can see the shape of his body. It cuts to like one bit where it shows the back of his head. That's unmistakably his hair because he just has that hair. She would know. So I'm under the impression that she's drugged. The kid is as well, because otherwise he'd be like, "Mum, what are you doing?" And Jay is as well, but not as heavily as they are.
He might not even be drugged. Well, whatever. He may be, he may not be.
Maybe.
So yeah, when Sam and Shell both die, the cultists all take their masks off, and so it's Fiona, the doctor, and I'm going to call him the doctor. He might not even be a doctor. He might just the Simpsons are. Thank you, doctor. Oh, I'm not a doctor. Yeah, so it's Fiona, the doctor, and the clients are all. Now, I think they added this scene in. I think Ben Wheatley didn't want this scene in at first, but it was put in at the end because as, I don't know, if test audiences or whatever.
Oh,
I think
really?
he didn't want them to unmask. I think it possibly would have worked better without the unmasking as well. I think you didn't need to see that they were there, because we already know that they're part of it. Maybe not the Doctor, but the other two definitely are.
Well, I didn't even recognise a Doctor, to be fair. So.
Okay.
Do you know what my theory on that is? They showed him first, he unmasks first, and I think that's because if it didn't show him first, then you might not realise that it's him, because he was the last person that you saw.
Yeah,
but he's not that, like, identifiable. He looks a bit like the Doctor from Jam, actually, you know, Dr. Jam.
Yeah. Do you think in this cult, then, do you think the Doctor is, like, the highest ranked out of the three? Because I think the client wouldn't be facing Jay and Gal if he was the boss, you know, that's someone that they would send to take care of this. And Fiona's gone in there as well, undercover, to do whatever she's done. And I think maybe at the end, the Doctor, or the man from the Doctor's office, he might be, like, quite high up, because he's gone to see Jay to see, is he finally ready for the ritual? That's only just occurred to me, but that's how I read it now, thinking about it.
That makes a lot of sense. I quite like that as well. I'm going to go with that in my headcanon from now on.
So Jay is then crowned, and the film ends there. He is now Queen of Summer. There you go. That was a hell of a ride. What do you think of this one? So what do you think that ending was all about? What do you think the film is about? Who wants to go first?
I've always just taken it as you see it. It is cult basically hiring a man to be the pawn in their newest ritual for whatever reason they're doing it for. And it is just exactly what you see on the screen. You get all the hints from it earlier. Fiona is there to try and scout them and whatever. And that's it. That you can take that at face value. However, I was listening to a thing and it mentioned it's a bit like Dante's Inferno. Like the moment that this happened, he is doomed and he is going through like the several layers of hell. You know what I mean? I quite like that idea. Another idea that I came, which I don't like, and I would never use this, but I thought I'd mention it. So at the very beginning of the film, when she's like, you haven't worked for 8 months. He's like, I've got a bad back, and she's like, it's all in your head. Yeah. And it's like Jay's the only person who kills anyone. Jay's the only person who hears anybody speak weirdly. It could be just like an unraveling of this like very, very sensitive mind that is just on a downward spiral, you know.
He keeps hearing whispers telling him to wake up as well, doesn't he, throughout the film?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, even his son is like, wake up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he might not even be his son, but somebody says wake up, and then the next scene is his son stood by his bed. Like,
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say then, Paul, when he's like, oh, I've got a bad back. I thought you were going to say it's all like a HMRC thing to prove that he hasn't got a bad back and he can work.
Tested if he's got a disability.
Yeah. Like, what's his name from EastEnders?
Oh, Keith Miller.
Keith Miller.
There's another theory that I started reading earlier on, but I didn't get all the way through it. But from what I did read, I think they were implying that. So, you know, when he reads him his bedtime story,
Yeah.
everything from that reading of the bedtime story is fake. That's him telling his kid the story because it's all about knights. He wants a story about knights and stuff like that, but he's got like all the knight stuff in his room. But he's telling the story of Kiev, but in a different form. That's, I think, what the theory was.
That's pretty cool,
Oh, nice, yeah.
Yeah, telling like some sort of old world, like old England fairy tale, which is what this is.
Yeah. And then my final little theory, which I do like, because this is like the most extreme version of it, is that every single person was in on it. And there are clues to that. So Gal saying thank you, the wall being bricked up, him getting him involved with the job anyway, him bringing Fiona to the house, his wife's involved as well. People probably don't like that, but I like it enough because it is the most extreme. Everybody but him is involved, and it is indoctrination. But they're the ideas there.
I would be very sad if Gal was involved. I'd like the idea that he's who he says he is. You know, he's like his best mate.
Well, I'll tell you my full theory, right, and then we'll sort of get to it, right. So I think that Fiona introduced Gal to the client, or brought him the job, right. She's gone in there to see Gal and say, listen, right, I've got this job for you, and that's how Gal's come across it all, right. I think Jay has been chosen because something happened in Kiev, and it's made him a viable candidate for this group to do whatever it is they want to do. I don't know if it was some sort of extreme violence that he showed or whatever it was, and they've thought, right, there's the man that we want, right, to put through this charade, whatever, the whole fiasco that he's got to go through. So I think they've chosen Jay, and he's got to kill certain archetypes, right. So he kills a priest, right, to show that he's got no connection to God. He kills an MP to show that he's got no like authority, got like nothing with the law. He's killed the spiritual side of himself. He's killed the law side of himself. When he kills Gal, now if you want to say Gal's in on it or not, he's killed his friend to show that he's willing to separate from his friendship. You know, he's willing to sacrifice a friend. And then when he kills Shell and Sam, he's willing to show that he's willing to sacrifice his family. Yeah. So there's 4. And again, the librarian, I'm not really sure how that sort of fits in, but that could be like he's willing to stand up for what he believes in, which is the protection of children, maybe. I don't know, something like that. You know, like it's almost like he's like on a tarot card journey, and they want him to separate himself from all these archetypes so he's pure and on his own. And then eventually, I mean, they do kind of trick him at the end when he kills the hunchback, but then I guess they can just sort of, it's almost like Cabin in the Woods. You know how Cabin in the Woods, you need to kill the nerdy dudes, you need to kill the jock, you need to kill the slut, you know, like that sort of thing. So I think that's sort of what they're doing. Whether or not you want to believe Gal's in it, I don't think he is, up until that part where, like, has he led him down the wrong path in the catacombs on purpose and Gal knows he's going to die? Has he been brainwashed by Fiona? But I don't think that he is. I just think that they kill Gal. They mortally wound him and then Jay's got to kill him. And whether or not it's real or not, like, it's just like the end of The Wicker Man. It's killing me won't bring your goddamn honey back. Like, it might not make sense, you know, but it's why I think, like, the librarian recognizes him and so does the priest. They're like, right, we knew this was coming one day and here we are. We have been chosen for this honor. You know, like how in Midsummer, at the end of Midsummer, the people that get chosen for that ritual, it's not a very nice thing to happen to him, but that's how I sort of buy it. Because the MP at the end is also the same. He, like, stretches his arms out and is like, now it's my time. And he's like, what an honor to be killed by the next Christ. You know, whether or not it's real, who cares? But they think that. That's the only thing I've put together that made sense in my head.
I forgot to mention it. So you know when Gal's trying to persuade Jay to come on the job and they go in his garage and they're like having a chat. He says, "Oh, it won't be like last time. There won't be a toddler or something." Did you pick up on that? Yeah.
Oh, right. I didn't hear that.
So whatever did happen in Kiev, whether they're like, "Oh, he can kill," like killing kids doesn't matter, or he's done it now, and he's able to do it again. I don't know. Whatever you take from that, I guess.
And we do see, like, children being hurt is like one of his berserk buttons because he mentions it, and obviously what they do with the librarian. So is it like something? And like he's a hardened killer. Like it would take something mental to like put him off work for like 8 months.
Yeah.
You know? So Kiev must have been something really like I imagine probably involved a child or something, the death of a child or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do like that theory, Dan. I like it.
Thank you, Paul.
So I've just got one more thing about his wife being involved. So we know that by the phone call and by seeing her later that Fiona has been visiting his wife.
Right, okay.
And she's bringing presents. Like, there wouldn't be an explanation for his wife being involved prior to that, but she's been going there. He doesn't know how often, but he knows that she's been there at least twice.
Yeah.
What is she doing while she's there? Like, we know that she's already under loads of stress, and she says later on, you know, I'm very close to leaving you, don't I? But he actually hasn't done anything for that to happen. Because he has taken on this job that she wanted him to do. He is getting them loads of money. He's going through a lot of shit. But she's like, I'm this close to leaving you, because she is going through a lot of stress, and Fiona could be just in her ear like that. So she could have convinced her to do that at the end, you know.
That does make a lot of sense as well, yeah. But then you do see that Shell's like, when she becomes action girl with a shotgun, she's not...
That could be part of it as well.
Maybe. Yeah. So what do you think of the film in general? Whoever wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'll be quick. 10 out of 10 for every aspect. It's, again, it does blend genres. So 10 out of 10 for a crime film, 10 out of 10 for a hitman film, 10 out of 10 for a horror film, folk horror, everything about it, 10 out of 10. There's nothing that I don't like about it.
James?
10 out of 10. Everything about it. It's, again, like I said, the one thing I don't like is just that shot of the blood coming out of the priest's head, but, you know, it's about 3 frames of the film. The acting in it, I love the realism. I think Neil Maskell and Michael Smiley work so fucking well together. It's creepy as the creepiest scene for me, and always has been, and I think what made me really love the film is when the librarian says to him, he's like, does he know who you are? And he's like, oh, it's been an honor. Like, that creeps me out more than, I mean, obviously, like, the cult stuff at the end is scary when they're getting chased, but like I can't explain how it makes me feel, but just in that house as well, it's just fucking but
do you know what it reminded me a little bit of? And it's not at all the same, but you know, in Fire Walk With Me, when David Bowie comes in and he points at Coop and he says to David Lynch, he's like, do you know who that is right there? It's just like that question of who a person is or isn't, like what are they hiding kind of thing. It gives me that kind of similar feeling.
Yeah. yeah. But yeah, 10 out of 10 for everything. It's always been one of my favourite films, this.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. I'm with you. I can't add anything else to what you've both said. It's 10 out of 10. It's so tense. It's so, like, clench my arse throughout the whole... I think even the first half might be the most unsettling to me. Watching this relationship between the two of them, it just looks like hell for them to be in that house. I start to relax a bit more when they get out of when he leaves to go and do his jobs. I'm like, oh, thank God he's out of that. You know, it's...
Yeah.
This, to me, was like... I'd seen folk horror before, like, obviously The Wicker Man and all kinds of stuff like that, but this, to me, was the first time, like, somebody mentioned the term folk horror, and then this is what sent me down the folk horror rabbit hole, and I'm a big fan of it now. Like, it's all because of this film, but also the fact that it's like a kitchen sink drama. It's like an EastEnders, fucking mad episode of EastEnders. Yeah. 10 out of 10. Thank you for choosing this one, Paul. I was definitely going to choose it at some point, but I'm glad you did now, because I feel like I've had such a good chat about it tonight.
But it's been a long time coming. I think we've needed a good chat about this one.
Do you want to run us through some trivia, or do you want to just leave it ambiguous and be more scary?
I'll leave it ambiguous, you know. I gave you 2 little bits earlier that were in context with what we were talking about, but do you know what? Let's fucking leave it. Let's leave it ambig.
So that is episode 1 of Dealer's Choice down. Next episode will be James's Dealer's Choice, and we don't know what that is. Only James knows what that is, so he's going to tell us live on air now. So, Broth, what have you chose?
Okay, so since Paul announced Kill List, I was like, right, I know exactly what I'm doing. It's going to be this film. And then I looked at my list of films today, and I was like, oh, fuck, I've not seen that for so long. And I was madly obsessed with it when it came out.
The Mask.
Yeah. No, it's that episode of Doctors Paul mentioned earlier. No, it's a film I went to see in the cinema. It's not the best film at all, but I've not seen it for probably about 10 years. I'm not sure if either of you two would have seen it, but I am going to go with 2007's Vacancy.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Luke Wilson.
Yeah. It's a last-minute choice. I was going to choose... I had 3 main ones I wanted to choose, but then I was like, today just felt like I wanted to watch this, so... And I'd be interested to hear your opinion.
Great. I'm looking forward to watching a new film.
Right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You can get in touch with us on Blue Sky at dark-talk.uk. We'll see you next time. Goodbye and good night.